Hey guys, today we have Aman and he is having total 3 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices. And guys, those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Aman, how are you? Are you excited?
Um, yes, I'm really excited. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good. So shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Aman, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Okay. So my full name is Aman Saraf, and I have 3 years of total experience in Spring Boot and Java in a product-based company. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my current project usually dealt with banking domain. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fintech is
Okay. So Aman, let's say you store 1 million entries in a hash map. Okay. Suddenly the
yeah.
performance drops drastically, right? What could be the
Mhm.
reasons?
Okay. So I have 1 million records in my hash map, right?
Mm-hmm.
So currently I will check if there are a lot of collisions happening in the hash map.
Okay.
If because there are multiple entries, multiple collisions can be there. So
Mm-hmm.
firstly, I'll check that. And
That's correct.
another, okay,
Mm-hmm.
one more method I can think of is uh, if the performance is very low, we can use
Mm-hmm.
concurrent hash maps because uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
different threads
that's the
can
alternative, right?
alternative. Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Do you know the default load factor of hash map?
I think it's 1.5, the default
It's
load.
0.75.
0.75.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so Aman, let's say two keys have the same hash code but are not equal. What happens in a hash map?
If two keys are, sorry.
If two keys have the same hash
Mhm,
code but they are not equal.
mhm. Okay, if two keys have the same hash code means they are colliding.
Hmm.
Uh, So we check for the dot equals
Hmm.
method, and if
Hmm.
both are same, then it is the same object, or else
Okay.
it is not.
When does the bucket convert into the red black tree?
When the size of the linked list
Hmm.
increases beyond 8, then it
Okay.
converts into a lead battery.
Cool. Can hash map cause a memory leak?
Um, I think yes, hash maps can cause memory leaks.
How?
Yeah. Uh, Not exactly sure, but
Hmm.
no, not exactly sure
Okay,
how
so when a
causes.
user is inserted, its hash code is computed from its current state and entry is
Yeah.
placed in the bucket, right? If the users
Mhm.
feel using the hash code later change, the entry now lives in the
Okay. Yeah.
wrong
Mutable
bucket.
object. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's say you have a very large data set, 50 million records. Would you
Okay.
use parallel stream or sequential stream?
I will use parallel stream
Why?
because of performance issues, different threads can, work in parallel to
Hmm.
give us the output faster. I think parallel stream would be better in this case.
What are the drawbacks of parallel stream?
Parallel stream, first of all, thread overload. I mean, to create threads, the CPU
Okay.
needs time, right? So creation of threads is one. Uh,
Hmm.
in parallel streams, we can have one disadvantage is
Hmm.
that if there is a shared resource,
Hmm.
then different threads, if they work on this that particular resource, it can change the value, and we can get a result which we do not desire.
Okay.
So one of the
Cool,
reasons is
cool.
that.
What thread pool does parallel stream use?
It uses a fork join common pool
That's correct.
parallel stream.
Which one is faster among list.stream.filter.map.collect or a for loop?
Again, that depends upon the size of the data set that you have.
Okay.
If it has a lot of if the size of the list is huge,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then we use loop for normal for loops. If the
Mm-hmm.
size of the data set is small, usually use streams.
That is
Yeah.
correct. Hey guys, I want to share something important with you. Actually, Aman prepared from our interview preparation kit and cracked multiple interviews. We have also referred him to the multiple companies. So let me tell you, this interview preparation kit has four main parts. First is complete interview preparation material. It is a step-by-step material made by me, experts, and MNCs interviewers. 99% of the questions asked in interviews are covered in it. Second is two real enterprise client projects. Code and video recorded sessions are there, and you can add this in your resume. Third is lifetime chat support. Here you can ask your doubts anytime. Fourth is referral support. Here we help you to get referred to the top MNCs. So basically the material is organized as per your experience level and covers Java, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data JPA, Kafka, microservices, Maven, Git, coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. You can buy just the complete interview preparation material or the full interview preparation kit with project supports and referrals. I have added both links in the description below. So now moving to our interview. And guys, before moving to our interview, since Aman is here, we can ask for feedback. So Aman, can you please give feedback on this?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the interview preparation kit was really
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I gave 4 to 5 interviews and I cracked all of them. I
Okay,
think
nice.
the interview preparation kit covers all the topics, and yeah, this interview
Yep, yep.
ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep, now moving to our interview. So Aman, let's say you have a REST API receiving 2000 requests per second. Each
Okay.
request performs a DB call and an
Perfect.
external API call. How would
Hmm.
you perform? How would you improve the performance?
Firstly, I think I will use a cache to increase the
Okay.
performance. Instead of giving the DB the calls every
Mm-hmm.
time, I would use a cache to improve
Mm-hmm.
latency.
Mm-hmm.
What was the second part of your question?
Um, Basically,
For
my question
microservices, right?
is, it may be microservices or it may not. The question is, you have REST API receiving 2000 requests per second. Each request performs a DB call plus external
Okay.
API call. Means there are two things these
Okay.
requests are doing.
Okay, for the DB call, I will first use the cache, as I said.
Uh-huh.
And for the different REST API calls to increase performance, I will use a load balancer uh,
Okay. We
to
can
divert
use
all the
also async processing.
correct async processing also we can use.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is any issue with
Mm-hmm.
the API calls, we can use circuit breaker or
Mm-hmm.
rate limiter, etc. Yeah.
Cool. When would volatile keyword fail?
Okay. So volatile keyword usually and would it fail? Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
failing means I'm not asking about an any error or like it will not be able to handle what type of scenarios in the concurrency environment.
Okay, if there is a shared resource, I guess it won't be able to uh, handle. I'm
Then
not really sure about this.
yes, that's correct. If
Yeah,
there is a shared counter,
yeah,
if the
shared
if
resource,
there
right?
are value, I mean Boolean values, then a volatile can work on with the Boolean values, but it will not be able to work with uh, counter values.
Counters.
Okay. Yep. Can you explain a real scenario where a deadlock can happen in production?
Deadlock in production. Oh,
Hmm.
let me think. Oh, okay. For example, if
Since
I have,
you are working on a banking project, so I think it's common to have a deadlock in.
I've not faced this issue, but I think if there is for example, there is a database, but
Mhm,
belonging to a particular microservice, right?
mhm,
So that database contains all the sensitive information about the
mhm,
customer or the transactions that we have. Okay. So if I am trying to call that database, try to
mhm,
access that database, and if I'm putting a lock on that database, but any other service is trying to call that database
mhm.
to fetch values, and in this case, I think a deadlock can occur.
That's correct. Let me give a simple example. If there is account one and it is waiting
Mhm.
for the lock of account two, and thread
Yeah,
B in thread B, account two is waiting for a account one, something
yeah,
like that.
that is a deadlock. Yeah,
That is a deadlock.
yeah, yeah, the resource I mentioned was database.
How would you detect a deadlock in production?
Uh, Firstly, we'll track all the services in the logs that
Okay.
what service is trying to access which resource.
Mm,
That way we can
okay.
know that there is a deadlock.
Okay. 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 So let's say your Spring Boot application service starts very slow after the deployment. What will you check first?
Okay, first I will check if there are unnecessary dependencies which are slowing
Mm-hmm.
down the performance of the Spring Boot application. If there
Okay.
is any database connection that is open
Mm-hmm.
and which I do not need at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
uh, or any other resource. For example, if I'm loading the cache or
Mm-hmm.
any external API, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
require at startup, I'll require it later. So I think that these are some
Okay,
of the points which can slow.
that's correct. And also, if there is GC issues, DB connection pool issues,
Yeah, GC
and
issues. Yeah.
thread pool exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving ahead, let's say you annotate a method with a transactional annotation, but that
Mhm.
transaction is not working. What could be the reason?
Okay, one reason I can think of which I also faced was that if one method uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is inside a transactional, for example, if I have a class,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if I have a method which has a transactional annotation, and if
Mm-hmm.
I call another method inside that same class, so the Spring will bypass the proxy
Okay.
and it will ignore the transactional annotation and it will
Mm-hmm.
not work as it is desired to work. So I faced this issue once. Yeah,
Have you
I think
worked
this
with
is
transactional annotation on private methods?
no,
Okay.
not
Do
really.
you know?
On private methods.
Yes, yes. Will transactional annotation work?
No, it will not work because ultimately the Spring has to create a proxy, so it extends
Mm-hmm.
that, right? So if we would private, it will not be able to do that and will get an exception.
Okay. So how proxy mechanism work?
So what happens that is that in any asynchronous transaction,
Mm-hmm.
so Spring creates proxy, and that
Mm-hmm.
proxy ultimately calls that the method that we have
Mm-hmm.
written.
Okay.
So
Cool. What happens if two services calls the same DB row update simultaneously?
two transactions call the same DB row.
Yeah, if two services are trying to call the same DB row to update simultaneously.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
if we usually we use there's a locking mechanism where one
Mm-hmm.
thread can update that row and then that updated uh, value is read by thread 2 and then it is updated. But yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. So do you know about two types of lockings, optimistic locking and pessimistic?
I read about it, but I have not used it. I'll
Okay.
try.
You should use optimistic when they are read heavy, conflicts are rare, but pessimistic when write heavy, conflicts are frequent.
Okay, yeah. Try
Okay.
try optimistic locking and the validate method, yeah, right? Yeah,
Right.
I recalled it right. Yeah.
Okay. Why is field injection considered a bad injection?
Because usually, firstly, we cannot make it final. We cannot make the fields final. It
Okay.
is mutable.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we can get null pointer exceptions.
Okay.
Thirdly, we it is not easy to test.
Mm-hmm.
Writing test cases are difficult because the value can change.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these three reasons I can think of.
Okay. Let's say service A calls service B in a microservice environment. Service A calls service B, and B is calling
Uh,
C, and C is basically slower. And due to the
okay,
C, A and B is also, I mean, they are also facing some issues. So, how would you fix
okay.
this?
I would firstly use any messaging queue
Mm-hmm.
uh, in between the services so that it can work synchronously.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, what else can be done? C is slower, right? So we can use a rate limiter where the service B, which is calling C, gives requests very slowly, so that it can
Mm-hmm.
match the pace of C.
Okay.
Uh,
And we could also
yeah,
use circuit breaker in C, right?
circuit breaker in C.
If an API is taking a lot of time, we should
Yeah, we
break
can use
that
a
API.
circuit breaker to for fault tolerance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If one microservices crashes, how do others detect it?
Okay. If we can use basically Spring Actuator in this,
Mm-hmm.
we'll know that which microservice exactly has crashed. Or
Okay.
we can again use circuit breaker pattern. If one
Mm-hmm.
service is trying to call another, it will fast fail instead of constantly trying to connect.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
You have multiple microservices calling the same DB. Is it good architecture?
Uh, no, because again there will be latency issues because one
Mm-hmm.
DB cannot serve so many microservices. I think, according to me, we can
Mm-hmm.
use one database for each and every microservices,
Mm-hmm.
and we can use there's something called the Saga pattern that we can use for
Correct.
transactional that each services, yeah, one
Yep, yep.
microservices.
Okay, so in production, CPU goes to 100% suddenly. What will you check?
Yeah. Uh, Firstly, I'll check the if there are a lot of resources which the CPU has to manage. If there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of idle threads, the CPU has to manage, and if there are a lot of resources, I'll try to first close the resources to bring the CPU threshold down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, and also thread dumps,
thread
GC
dumps exactly to
thrashing.
close the threads. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay, so let's say your application memory keeps increasing slowly. What
Hmm.
could be happening behind the scene?
Okay. If my memory is increasing, I think I have created a lot of threads, or there is any memory leakage
Mm-hmm.
potentially. Uh, Usually we check the logs to see if there are any resources which are open that has forgotten we have forgotten to close that. Uh,
Unclosed resources.
i- Unclosed resources, threads which are not useful to us anymore. We can dump
Mm-hmm.
those threads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
Yep,
going
yep,
to
that is
happen.
correct. Memory leak, unbounded
Memory leaks
caches,
and
and closed resources. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me why is lazy loading the default for one-to-many annotation?
Okay, I think it creates an n plus one problem, if I'm not wrong, if there is lazy loading. I'm not really sure
Mm.
of this.
No, no, one
Uh,
n plus one actually is different.
no, that is different.
First is due to the performance. One-to-many can represent thousands of child records,
Okay, yes,
mm,
yes, yes, yes.
right?
I got it.
Loading them eagerly would generate a massive
Yeah,
join queries.
massive.
Mm.
Correct, correct.
Yes. Okay, so tell me what is n plus one problem?
And plus one problem again, when there are parent and child relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
firstly we fetch all the parents in one query.
Okay.
Then for each parent, we have to like fetch all its children. So we
Mm-hmm.
ultimately fire n plus one queries. So
Okay.
that is a very big performance issue for the
Mm-hmm.
system.
Correct, correct. Mm, okay. Let's say your service process large file uploads, example 2 GB, 10 GB. Would you send them directly to microservice?
Mm, as in, I didn't understand by sending them directly microservices.
Like if you are two microservices, if I mean, will you be able to send a 2 GB or from one microservice to another, something like that?
Usually we don't transfer such big files to one microservice to another because of performance issues again.
Correct, correct. We should generate an S3, something like that, right?
Mm,
And utilize the links, cloud services. Okay. Uh, your service must support 1 million users at least. What things will you scale?
okay. Mm, I will scale usually 1 million users I have to support, right?
Yes, yes. Or
Okay.
maybe more than 1 million users.
Okay. Firstly, I will have to create a lot of instances for my server to manage the
Mm-hmm.
load.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we'll have a load balancer at the backend. This one thing I will do. Secondly, to scale, we'll not use a monolithic but a microservice architecture
Mm-hmm.
for it as it is easy to debug and implement and deploy.
Mm-hmm.
So that scalability can we can increase scalability. What else?
Um,
Uh, yeah,
database, read replicas, DB sharding.
yeah, yeah, we can use DB sharding. I forgot.
Okay.
Also.
Okay, so Aman, tell me one production issue you have fixed and how did you diagnose that?
Okay, one production issue that we were facing, but that was a database issue actually. We
Mm-hmm.
were connecting to a different database in the production, and we were connecting to a different database in the local. But yeah, that was only the issue. Never faced any production issues because usually our code quality is, our seniors check
Mm-hmm.
the code qualities and the reviews. So before the production, we fix everything.
Okay, so tell me what's the most difficult bug you have solved?
Okay. Actually, I had managed to get a project where I had to develop that microservices from the scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So one issue I was facing was that I was we use REST template to call different
Mm-hmm.
microservices in our organization. So I was calling that microservice according to my application. The request was going through, but the application which was supposed to receive the request was not receiving.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
yes,
in your application, in your current project, what one design level thing you would want to change?
okay, what design level? Currently, I'm not using any observer pattern for our, push notification services.
Okay,
We
so
are
what thing we are
relying on,
using?
we are using a system called C9 that is an external application which helps us to push through email or SMS or WhatsApp. So
Okay,
currently,
so maybe that external system is using observer pattern internally.
yeah, but we do not have any access to the C9 system. That's why we had a chat with the team. So we are
Mm-hmm.
currently trying to implement that in our own system instead of using the external APIs.
Okay, got it. Can we override a private method?
Can we override a private method?
Hmm.
I don't think so.
Hmm?
Private methods are for the class itself, right?
Hmm.
So that's why we
Can
cannot.
an interface have constructor?
Uh, no, interface does not have any constructor.
Can Spring create a bean of an abstract class?
Spring, I'm really not sure about this kind of Spring.
No,
Let
Spring
me think.
cannot
No, I don't,
instantiate
yeah,
any.
no, no, no.
Difference between put and patch
Put is put is used to modify the resource, right? In a database.
and patch.
But patch is used to modify some part of that.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, some part of the row.
Correct, correct. Okay, so Aman, can you please share your screen and open any Java editor? I'll share few coding questions then. Okay, so Aman, you are given a list of integers and you have to find the top third element from the list, means third largest element from the list by using Stream API.
Third largest element from the list.
Mhm.
Okay. So okay, let me try. Suppose, suppose I have a list of ones. Four, two. Suppose I have a list like this. I have to find the third largest number in
Element.
this list, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. From the list.
Hmm. Okay. I will use list. What's uh, third, third largest. So I have to skip the first two. Okay, sorted. Third. Okay, collections. No. Limit is not using. Okay, no, there is a method called skip.
Hmm.
Yep, yep, I was forgetting that. Dot find first. Uh, the element has to be can be unique or suppose I have third largest element here is 4, right? Suppose I
Hmm.
have 4 comma 4. So
Hmm.
do I have to find the distinct also or anyways it will give 4. Okay, no problem. Okay. Yeah, I think this will look.
Yeah, please run it.
Okay, no, this is comparator. Okay, okay. Just make it this a list first. Teacher list, list. Okay, then I have to print also, right? This, oh, print,
Assume elements
mhm.
yourself.
Yeah, okay. Arrays dot as is. Okay, let me just print. I will take this even integer first. Integer X, suppose. Okay. Let me take arrays dot as is. Will be faster. Okay, I've taken the and output should be 4, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I think you have to import, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it is pretty important, no? In these IDs.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. Dot start. Sorted. Comparator spelling issue. Is there
It will return optional
interval?
of integer.
Okay, okay.
You can do dot get after in the end.
Yeah.
Something
Can I spelling?
find first spelling is correct or what? Yep,
Yep.
it is
Yep.
four. Yep.
Typos are all
Yeah,
around.
yeah. Hmm. Okay, now moving to
Yeah.
the next question. You are
Mm-hmm.
given a list of integers again, and now
Okay.
you have to convert the list into the map where the keys are the unique numbers from the list and values are the frequency of that unique number. Did you get it? And print the map.
Example.
For example, you have 1, 4, 5, 10, 3, right? So the map would be all the keys would be like 1,
Mm,
4, 5, 10, 3, and their value would be 1, 1 because the frequencies are 1 only.
okay. So okay, let me just change it to something like a 4 here again.
Now it
Yep.
would be like
So
1, 4, 2,
yeah.
then 5, 1, 10, 1, 3, 1. And don't
Mm,
like there is no constant for the order. When you have
okay.
converted to the map, you should not
Mm,
maintain the order. It's up to you actually. If you want to make it,
okay.
then do, otherwise don't.
Okay. So my question is convert to map. And the 4 will be printed first, right? Because it has the highest frequency. No?
No, no, I have said Order, I mean, we don't have to maintain the order. We
Mm-hmm.
can print in any order. We can hold the values
Okay.
in any order.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mm. Okay. Firstly, I'll just make a map first. I'll collect it in this map. Uh, then we use stream it. Yeah. Okay, then we'll collect it. Okay. Collectors only, right? Uh, which method was that? To map, right? To map. Then we will use. Let me convert it to length also. Just okay. Now we convert
Mhm.
system dot print. Then we will just start here. Cannot find symbol.
Cannot find symbol. I'm not sure about two map because I haven't worked on this. But there is a method collectors dot grouping by, and inside grouping by, we could add our
Hmm.
things like x arrow x comma collectors dot counting, something like that.
Okay. Grouping by.
Hmm. But I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Maybe this may work to map. I don't know. I haven't worked on this yet.
Okay, I'll try by grouping by. If it is okay.
Yep, yep.
Let me try it. Let's try this to map. Collectors. Grouping by this one, right?
Hmm.
Now again the same thing, right? We can use this. Uh, start length.
S arrow S comma collectors dot counting. No, no, it's not like that. S arrow S comma
Okay.
collectors dot counting, where S is the key and value is collectors dot counting, means the counting of this S.
Something like this.
Yes, yes.
I haven't worked on
Can
this,
you
but
try
let's
this?
see it. Yeah, yeah.
Counting spelling is correct.
Yeah, counting spelling is right.
Symbol variable collectors. COLLECTORS.
Characters dot counting.
Grouping by, it should work actually. Is dot stream dot collect. Is there any other import we need? Can you try Java dot util dot okay, so stream is covered only in this. Yep.
Mm-hmm. The error which you're getting is cannot find symbol. I think this is the ID issue only.
COLLECTORS collectors is a symbol actually, it should work.